what it is, everybody. Icon here talking about a little Batwoman and Supergirl. We're up to episode 12? Yeah, episode 12 in the book. So for this episode of Supergirl, it is part 2 of Back from the Future. Winn is still here, and the Toy Man is still running wild. He uploaded his consciousness into the DO computer, and we later find out that this was something that Winn himself created when he was a child. His father stole his design because he created this code that allows you to put your consciousness into a computer. And he was a kid, he did it for fun, and his dad took it in and tried to run wild with it. Toy Man basically has the same code. He had the same code, that's his doppelganger. So he used it to upload himself into the DO. Now, the ironic thing is, because Winn's dad actually stole the code from him when he was a child, he uploaded 80% of his consciousness into the computer as well. So, Winn's dad's 80% of his consciousness exists in the code. So when Toy Man used the code, he ended up digitally bringing his dad back to life as well. So, Winn's dad is in there. He's talking to Winn. He's just like, "Oh, you gotta save the world, son." And he's just like, "You're not my." He's like, "Screw you, dad." Because Winn doesn't like his dad. And Toy Man basically, he tells the DO, he's like, "Listen, lower your firewall," because right now, again, he's trapped in the DEO, so he's using all the DEO weapons, the machinery, the robots. He's trying to basically kill everybody that's inside the building, and he's just like, "Lower your firewall and let me out so I can run wild throughout the entire world, or he'll kill everybody in the DEO." So they come up with a plan. Winn ends up putting, Alex, Brainy, Supergirl, they're fighting the machines, they're fighting all the robots and everything. Winn puts his consciousness into the computer to go after the Toy Man. He sees the Toy Man, he sees his dad. His dad is, trapped behind, a firewall or whatever. He's talking to his dad. His dad's like, "Let me help you, son." He's like, "No, because I hate you, father." So Winn's fighting his computerized doppelganger. His dad is sitting there in the background. Winn decides to let his dad out because his dad gave him the speech of, he was just like, "Listen," he was like, "Yes, son." He was like, "I am a bad person, but," he was like, "you're the opposite of me." He was like, "You're not me." He's like, "Actually, you're better than me." And he was like, but because, when his consciousness came alive through the code, he said that, I searched the internet, I saw all the good things that you did in the DEO, I saw how many times you saved the world. He was like, "You're a great person, son." He was like, "You're better than me." So Winn felt bad. He let his dad out. His dad fought Toy Man. Winn ended up doing what he had to do. He entered some destruction code that will destroy the whole thing, and he destroyed it, killing the last remnants of his dad and the Toy Man. So the DO is saved. Winn has to and Winn's ready to go home. He's he says goodbye to everybody, and he's gonna go home and be with his family. Now, he did say that the Legion of Superheroes gave him the name Computer Lad, but because of everything that happened, he decided that when he goes back, he's gonna officially change his Legion of Superhero name to Toy Man. And he said that he's going to use the name Toy Man for something positive because it used to represent something negative. So he's going to put the spin on it. And that's cool. And it was good seeing Winn. I actually miss seeing Winn. So now Brainy, Alex, she was trying to, she was basically trying to spy on Lex Luthor. And she told Brainy about it. Because Brainy's working with Lex Luthor, he cut off the feed that she was using to spy on him. And then he told her, he was like, "Oh, I did it to protect you because Lex could find out and then he can come after you." Alex got mad, but she was like, "What's wrong with you, Brainy?" Whatever. But when Toy Man took over the DEO, Lex called and he was just like, "Listen, don't," because Alex's whole thing was, she was like, "I'm going to get rid of all the tech so he can't take over the tech." And Lex was like, "No, leave all the Kryptonian stuff because I want to keep the Kryptonian stuff." And Alex and Lex have been, going back and forth. Alex doesn't like what he's doing. And, she decided in the end, she was just like, she flat out, she can't work for him. She was like, "I can't work for Lex anymore," because she was just like, it's too compromising. She ended up quitting her position as director of the DEO, and she's going to work for Jean in the tower now. I don't know where she's going to get the money from, but she's going to work with Jean in the tower now. So, and Lex actually promoted Brainy to the director of the DEO, which is crazy now because now Brainy officially does work for Lex, and I don't know if Brainy's gonna turn into a puppet of Lex or if he'll actually become Brainiac, but this definitely won't end well for for Brainy. And again, so now we got Alex working with John in the tower. Lena Lena basically, she went to Andrea because she was trying to get Andrea to team up with her because she needs the Insidian tech to, to mix with her Q-wave so she can take over everyone's brain. She ended up, Andrea was like, no, because she was like, we're friends now and I don't want to ruin our friendship. And then Lena was just like, no problem, like, whatever you need, I'll give it to you. While Lena was in her office, she purposely sabotaged the Obsidian tech. And then when the Obsidian tech, like blew up pretty much, she was that, then that's why she wanted to work with her, because she purposely sabotaged Andrea just so she can be like, hey, I hear you're having problems, we should probably work together. Andrea was like, no. But the blonde chick that works for Leviathan, Lex talked to her and she was just like, hey, I heard you guys are having problems and I heard your girl Andrea turned down Lena's help. So the Leviathan woman, she went back to Andrea and she was like, listen, she was like, don't be turning down no help. She was like, but Lena and I, we're trying to mend our friendship. And she was like, girl, I don't give a damn about your friendship. She's like, we're trying to make money. So Andrea called Lena back and she was like, sure, we'll work with you. So now Luthor Corp and Obsidian, they're working together, and Leviathan thinks they're playing the Luthors think they're playing Leviathan. Both sides are coming together but waiting to stab each other in the back, and that's going to be pretty interesting when because Leviathan, they alluded to like another person. It was like, because when they teamed up, they were just like, oh, the Luthors are in check now, the person above us will be pleased. So I'm like, there's another person now. So we'll see who this new entity is that the blonde woman is actually working for within the realm of Leviathan. And then finally, Kara and William, Kara and William, he went to karaoke. He asked her out on a date. She thought about it, and then she was just basically saying how she didn't want to start the relationship off with a lie because she was like, the lies ruined her relationship with Lena, and then like Wynn had came up with this lie, because when there was danger at the DEO, Supergirl had to leave, and Wynn came up with this lie telling William that her grandmother was sick, and Kara had forgot all about the lie. So then when Kara decided to actually take William up on his date, because he asked her out on a date, William was like, oh, hey, how's your grandmother doing? And then she was just like, oh, that's right, I lied to you. And then, then Kara thought about it, and she was like, listen, I don't want to start our relationship with a lie. So she basically did the right thing and told William that she wasn't interested at all, so it wouldn't become this whole weird thing, and then she walked away. She's home with Alex. Somebody knocks at the door, and then when she opens the door, it's a brand new Mixixpidelic, and this is how we lead into the 100th episode, because the next episode of Supergirl is the 100th episode, and I believe Mixixpidelic is going to take Kara on a ride throughout the last 5 seasons of Supergirl. So we get to see a lot of returning characters. Hopefully James will be there. Finally, maybe we'll get a Cat Grant cameo. Monel, and anybody else that we used to be there that probably popped off. So that was it. So definitely looking forward to it. And cool episode of Supergirl. Way to cap it off, for Wynn. Nice to see Wynn back, and we'll see what happens in episode 100. When we last left Batwoman, Beth was dying, and Alice was dying, because they've discovered that, due to the multiversal collapse, everyone's merging into one. Some doppelgangers, accidentally wound up on Earth, on Earth Prime. They weren't supposed to be on Earth Prime, and Alice and Beth being two of them. But because both of them can't exist on the same plane, the universe is basically killing them both unless one of them can create a significant difference or strength over the other. So the episode starts with Sophie. She's leading the crows, and she's on her way. She's basically like she's on a witch hunt for Alice, because they met with a doctor. Well, not a doctor. Yeah, well, he's a doctor. So Sophie and Commander Kate, they met with a doctor who, I guess like he specialized in like skin regeneration or skin repair or whatever. So they wanted him to basically testify in a court that it is possible for someone to take someone's face, apply it to their own face, and change their whole appearance. The doctor said in order for him to do that, he wanted to speak to Mouse first, because he wanted to meet the person who was able to do that, because he said in theory that shouldn't happen. So Commander Kane told Sophie, he was just like, listen, like, you're in charge of the crows, and if you want the city to respect you, you need to go out there and you need to kick some ass. So she's on like this citywide witch hunt turning over stones, kicking over trash cans, roughing up civilians, beating up homeless people. She's looking for Alice, and she told the crows, she was like, "Listen, when you see Alice, kill that bitch on sight." So, Sophie's coming for blood. Batwoman rolled up on her. She's like, "Listen," she was like, "You just got the commander's job. It's not a good look for you to be going around actually like beating up, roughing up innocent people." And then she's like, "Don't tell me how to do my job with your vigilante, with your vigilante cape on, and." And that woman, she was just like, listen, she was just like, I'm trying to protect you, I'm trying to protect my city. So, but Sophie was like, I'm not going to do it. So, and she was just like, yo, peace out, Batwoman. And then, Sophie went to go do what she had to do. So, now, the doctor, he ended up going to Mouse. And I knew, I kind of knew it. I kind of guessed it. But when the doctor showed up, he was talking to Mouse, and then him and Mouse had a conversation. He ripped off his face, and you find out that's his dad. And I was a little upset. It's like, I kind of knew it before it happened, but then when I realized that was his pops, I got mad. Because his dad was the one who created the false face procedure to begin with. And so it's like, well, if he can do it for his son, why can't he do it for himself? But I was disappointed because, I wanted this fool to die. And he's unfortunately still alive. I don't know how he's alive. I need to see, before the season's over, I need to see this flashback of... Because I thought Beth killed him. It turns out Beth didn't kill him. And he somehow got away. I don't know if her and Mouse ran away from home, or or maybe Beth beat him up pretty bad, she stabbed him in the neck. He fell in the river, and then he washed up on shore somewhere, and then changed his face and lived a new life. I don't know what happened, but he's still alive, and that actually gives me hope because I'm always talking about I'm calling Mouse the false face character from the original Batman TV series, and maybe his dad's gonna be false face now. So who knows? We'll see where that goes. But his dad basically he got into an argument with Mouse. He was like, listen, he was like, I'm your daddy boy, and and he was like, you chose her over me, and then he was like, because she was my friend, and then you were my abuser. So he knocked his son out. He injected him. He was like, tell me where Beth is, and he's like, no, and then he injected him in the neck with some true serum. I guess he spilled the beans, and then his dad killed the security guard that was on the other side of the room, and he took Mouse to some disclosed location because the dad's whole thing now is he wants to kill Alice because in his mind Alice took his son away from him. So Sophie's looking to kill Alice, and now Mouse's dad is looking to kill Alice. So back at Wayne Tower, everybody's trying to come up with a way to save Alice. They're to save Beth. They're trying to come up with a way to save Beth. How they can, Luke is there, and Mary's there, and Mary still being there still doesn't make any sense because at this point, just tell Mary that you're Batwoman because Mary, you told Mary about the multiverse. Mary knows about the multiverse. Just tell her you're Batwoman because it's actually the fact that Mary doesn't know at this point is very ridiculous. But but they're trying to come up with ways to save to save Beth. Mary goes back to her doctor's office because she's like, she can find a way to save her. So Mary goes down there. Alice, she goes to see Mouse before the dad did, and then Mouse told her that he was like, look, there was a woman that had your face in the junkyard, And then Alice starts putting two to two together. She goes back to Wayne Tower, and then she sees Beth. And then we have a nice little conversation between Alice and Beth, where she's like, oh, I can see why you like her. She's basic, and she's all cutesy and blah, blah, blah. And, she's like, you choose her over me? Because, and I'm like, well, because you're crazy, bitch. You going around killing people. Beth ain't killing nobody. So, Alice tried to kill Beth right there in the office. Kate stopped her, and then both of them started having the migraines, and then Alice took off. She immediately went to Mary's doctor's office because when the episode where Alice killed Mary's mom, she injected Mary with the antidote, and and she told us that the antidote came from some special flower or something that was supposed to have universal regenerative healing properties. So that serum now exists in Mary's system. So Alice knew. She was like, yo, if I can take Mary's blood and inject Mary's blood into my system, it'll regenerate my red cells, and then she'll have the life advantage over Beth, and then Beth will be the one to deteriorate, and Alice will be the one to stay. So she goes down to the doctor's thing. She rolls up on Mary. Mary actually put up a good fight, but Alice got the drop on her. She took her blood. Mary woke up, knocked Alice out, handcuffed her to the bed, took the blood, and she dipped. she goes to Kate and she's like, Kate, I got the blood, and and then she tells Kate, she's just like, listen, this blood can save one of them, and then Kate was just like, we can't save both of them, and Mary was like, bitch, I know you was not trying to save Alice. And then she gave her the blood. She was like, look, do what you, if I was Mary, I'd have just rolled up into the Wayne Tower, and I would have just injected Beth with the thing. I wouldn't even have told Kate, but Alice, because Alice was hating and Alice knew that Mary would probably do that, Alice called the Crows and told the Crows that Alice, she said, she was just like, you're looking for Alice. Alice was at Wayne Tower, because obviously the Crows aren't going to know the difference between who's who. So the Crows roll up on Wayne Tower. Kate ends up putting, she ends up putting Beth into the Bat Cave. I mean, into the Bat Vault. I'm not calling it the Bat Cave because the Bat Cave's under Bruce's house. So so like that's like the Bat bomb shelter. So she puts her in we'll call it the Bat Cave. Well, so she puts her in the Bat Cave, and then they're hiding out in the Bat Cave. But then Kate was like, listen, the Crows are tearing this building apart, so it's only a matter of time before they find the elevator that leads to the Bat Cave. Kate ends up giving Beth the serum. Beth ends up living. She puts Beth on she puts Beth and Luke on the motorcycle, and then Luke takes off to get Beth out of there. And then once Luke and Beth leave, the Crows leave Wayne Tower. So now like the Batman secret is safe. Kate then goes back to the doctor's office, to Mary's doctor's office, to say goodbye to Alice, because now that Beth has the serum, Alice is about to die, and she went down there to say goodbye to her sister. Alice was crying and she was upset, and she was like, why didn't you? She's like, why did you choose her over me? And she was like, bitch, because she ain't killing nobody. Like, what part of like you like let's just forget the innocent people that you killed. It's like, you killed Mary's mom. Like you set up our dad. It's just like, you're not a good person. And it's like, and if you're Alice, like, you can't even be mad at that. Like, Alice should not be surprised why she wasn't chosen. But then it's like she want to act all hurt, like, I can't believe it, you chose her. I'm like, bitch, you're a criminal. You're a murderer. So, but Kate was just like, look, she was like, you're still my sister, and she's like, I'll stay with you until the end, until it's your time. Luke and Beth end up going to some random hotel. Sophie followed them, and then Sophie was about to bust one right in Beth's, right between Beth's eyes, and I was like, nah, because if Sophie is the one that kills Beth, Kate will never talk to Sophie again. And I like Sophie, so I don't want to see Sophie's role in the show get minimized because her and Kate ain't speaking. But she had a change of heart. Like, she was about to pop one in the dome, and then she had a change of heart. She decided not to kill Beth. Instead, she called the Crows. She was like, "Yo, come down to this parking lot and let's lock this bitch up." And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Beth gets shot in the back, and we find out that the person that shot her in the back was Mouse's dad, because Mouse's dad had the police radio, so he heard when Sophie said that she was on her way to go stop Luke and Beth. So he showed up. He put one right in Beth's back, and then Sophie was just like, "Oh snap! They're gonna blame me for this shit." So Beth is unfortunately dead now. Luke lost it, and as soon as Beth died, Alice, because like Kate was holding Alice and she was like crying because she was like, she just lost her sister, and then Alice popped right up and she was like, "You tried to kill me, bitch!" And then and then like that's how the show ended. So Alice is alive. Beth is gone, which is sad, but we knew we weren't going to keep both of them. Mary and Luke, they did this funny thing where they were in the car together. They were trying to get Alice to safety in the beginning of the episode, and they were like arguing like a married couple. I'm just like, yo, y'all two need they need to just do it already. like quote Will Smith from Bad Boys 1, like, y'all two just need to bone and get that shit over with. At this point, there's really no saving the Alice-Kate relationship, because Kate flat out chose Beth over Alice, and now that Alice is alive, she's just like, wow, like, you don't even love me. I mean, it's like a warped sense of thinking. It's like, oh, you don't love me because you didn't save me, but it's like, no, I didn't save you because you're a murderer and you're killing everybody. So yeah, Alice is going, when Batwoman comes back, Alice is going to blow the town up, and it's about to go down. Like, she might even spill the beans on who Kate really is. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and a very, very good episode of Batwoman. So that was it. That was my reviews for Supergirl and Batwoman. Leave a comment, like, and/or subscribe. Check out my other DC videos and my other content as well, non-DC related. Take care, everybody. And until next time, as always, I'm out this bitch.